the vernal equinox of Las Vegas in 2020. It was on March 19th, and this was the day the sun was directly over the Earth's equator. Theoretically, there was 12-hour day and 12 hours of night, with dawn and dusk falling peacefully between the seams. On this day, which is the first day of spring, Las Vegas was beginning a 2-month shutdown in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The vibrant city felt as if it had stalled, and businesses closed, and acres of empty parking lots checkered the city while some people wandered around aimlessly. The casinos in North Las Vegas were shuttered, and coins were no longer entering the slot machines or coin-operated businesses in the area. As people lined up at grocery stores, the liquor stores were closed in a town where you never hear a bartender yell, "Last call." The hustle and bustle of our vibrant Chinatown also came to a stop. If you stood on the hilltop looking into the valley, it may have looked like this was the city full of action, but you would have been fooled. Standing in the center of Desert Inn, the main thoroughfare connecting the east and west sides of town would have certainly confirmed this. The little gardens tucked into the nooks and crannies of the city were enveloped in silence. The strip was empty, but there were still a few trucks coming into the city to make deliveries. Construction crews continued their work and ripped the palm trees out of the median in front of the pepper mill. And it seems that only the orange cones were practicing social distancing. With this absence of traffic, signal lights and warning lights blended in with the neon, and the sidewalks were empty. In the coming months, New York City was about to get hit. COVID-19 cases, infection rates, and fatalities would be a dramatic reality. That afternoon, there was no orchestra assembled to play Stravinsky's Rite of Spring. The eerie silence was jarring. And if the sun had decided to set that day, it would have been an excusable absence. Local bars that never closed blocked off their parking lots, and the Huntridge Tavern was shuttered and as silent as the Huntridge Theater, which had closed in 2006. As shoppers flooded the stores to buy toilet paper, the down and out rummaged through the unprocessed donations at the thrift store, loaded them up onto makeshift carts, and scuttled them back to their encampments. Every so often, one meets a kind soul. This is Kenneth. He surveys the planters around town for little rocks that might have clues or bits of information about our planet. Yeah, that's a beautiful rock.
But I had one with a big one with some silver dripping out of it. You know, specks of silver, and the police or the sheriff's got it. I'm gonna file claims against it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell the judge, well, you ought to see it. You know?
Yeah.
She's gonna want to see it too.
Las Vegas has been home to many legends, such as Howard Hughes. And as a germaphobe, I wonder how he would have reacted to this pandemic. I'm sure he would have sequestered himself into his ivory towers. Regardless, the city kept building its stadiums, planning for Super Bowls, just as it had hosted the Stanley Cup in 2018 and 2019. But as the new Vegas emerges, old Vegas is shipped out. The Bonneville Transit Center became a hub of activity. Those on the fringe zipped around in their chairs. They were boarded onto buses, strapped in, and traversed the city with no destination. The buses became their accommodation rather than transportation. Local dives and neighborhood bars barricaded their doors, and the homeless made shelter at the bus stops on the Strip. Caesar was an emperor of empty rooms that night. There are 3,960 rooms at Caesar's Palace. On March 19th, there were 4,805 new cases in the United States. If each of those cases were asked to isolate at Caesar's Palace, there would have been 645 people in the lobby waiting for a room to quarantine. Sadly, the worst was yet to come. By the time the 2020 autumnal equinox came around on September 22nd, there was 7,097,937 new cases in the United States. 205,481 of those people have died. There are 149,422 rooms in Las Vegas. If we had served as a hospice city, providing palliative care to those that were terminally ill, we certainly would have been inundated. Approaching the winter equinox on December 21st, we're right around 310,000 dead. I hope the worst is behind us.